more diverse manner? Are we able to prepare the students for the real world? Are we able to make the students creative, etc.? This is the key, right? So, what is the biggest pressure on a teacher? How many teachers are here? Okay. Is the question your administrator will ask you, did you cover the syllabus? Everybody's going yes. Now, if there are more holidays because of some or the other eventuality than was originally planned, yes, that there is more pressure on the teacher to cover the syllabus. Now there's less time to do it, right? So they're going to be in much more of a hurry. Is that good? No. So I maintain that if the teachers are in such a hurry to cover the entire syllabus, the students may not be able to uncover any concept. They cover it up so much that they can't uncover anything. Okay? So the real challenge is, are we able to do it in such a way that at least a few concepts are well understood, so much so that you're excited about the subject, that you want to learn more, and then you are self-driven? That's the question. Are you given open-ended problems? Or I said, okay, do this, and the answer is yes or no. That's closed-ended, right? Are you forcibly thinking of other ideas of how to do things, research, entrepreneurship? Are we thinking about values? These are some very, very important things that are required. Now, if all you worked on in your college days is to pass your examinations and get your degree, then I will tell you that your education is a total waste. Okay? If you are not focused on thinking about why is this subject relevant, where am I going to use this in real life, how are the problems today going to change because of whatever I'm learning, or vice versa, those things need to be examined, and the teachers should be also observing what is happening during the semester as well as at the end of the semester. That's the formative and summative. Right? And challenging the students always is the question. So if I were to tell you, in your village, where you come from, there is a problem of power, how are you going to solve it? What are you going to do? It's just a problem. Anybody? Any takers? Raise your hand. I'll invite you to speak. Okay. So this classroom, if you can imagine this to be a classroom, is not tuned to interaction. That's my statement. Okay. Watch our teachers and students. The changes that are required is flipping the classroom. So I maintain that in a classroom there should be no more lectures. They should be working on the problems, sitting together, working with one another. The peer learning happens. The teacher is there, but only as a guide. When you have questions on how to solve the problems, that can be done. You can listen to recorded lectures at home. That's the flipped classroom. So this basically makes one another able to talk to one another, right? Some of you are parents here, right? How many are parents? Just raise your hands. Just a few. Okay. The first 1 or 2 years of the child's life, we as parents are very busy teaching them how to walk and talk. And the next 15 or plus years, we are saying, no talking, keep quiet, don't do anything, just stay there, don't move, do you need soft skills. Because you do not know how to communicate, which you knew all of that when you were little, right? You would run to your parent and say, why is the sun there? Why is the moon there? Why is the moon not there during the daytime? Why should the sun die in the daytime? Etc., etc. All these existential questions, they're all gone because either the parent, myself included, guilty, was too busy to answer the questions of the little child who has so many questions, saying, okay, why don't you go off and do something else now, right? And then they keep doing that and then stop asking questions altogether. Let's look at what is the industry wanting and what is it asking for. It wants the people to be able to actually do things, solve real problems. So if I'm a company that's producing software, I want the real problem of, writing code to search for something be done. But now, if that's not the case with the student, they're only looking at, okay, programming meant stacks, queues, trees, etc. How do I relate all this? I don't know what to do. Now you tell me what to do. Is that going to work? Sadly enough, it doesn't. So unless you have experience working on real life problems, you just can't survive in the real world. So there is this tussle between the industry and the academia. Academia is desperately trying to prepare its students for the real world industry. My question to the teachers and the students is that how many of these people in the academia have the experience of the industry? Just show of hands. Okay. If the majority of the teachers do not have experience of what it is that they're preparing the students for, I maintain that how the hell can they prepare the students for that? Read another book. So, if you want to be useful in the industry, wake up and shake yourself up now when you are here in college, because these are useful years, mind you, and know that you have to take ownership of your own learning, because a teacher is a mentor. They can help some, but you owe it to help yourself. Right? So, this has been the story of the tussle. It's called active learning. This is some of the kinds of things that are happening in the world today, where you have to practice learning by doing. That's another thing. Because you hear, you forget, you see, you remember, but you do understand. So, learning by doing works. Working in teams, that's important. Flipping the classroom, that's also important. We talked about that, right? What will these changes lead to? Let me tell you that it will be empowering you no end to actually face your future. There will be collaborative learning, you get your thinking caps on, because thinking is what you really need to do. And you may become entrepreneurs. You may look at that village of yours which had no power and say, hey, I'm going to go fix that problem because I know how. And you're going to be thinking about practical solutions to real problems that we face today. And this is the world that I'm hoping that we are going towards. Now, the very famous and very important person said, this could allow a billion productive minds instead of a billion mouths to feed. A billion and then some is what we have, right? So, is that billion productive minds is better? Or you have to worry about a billion mouths to feed is better? Come on guys, it's a no-brainer. Billion productive minds? No? Okay, good. So are you going to work towards that? So I just want to take a small journey and say, I have had the opportunity of being on both sides of the world, in industry for about 25 years, both in the US and in India. You know, working with companies like National Semiconductor, AMD, Apollo, Hewlett-Packard. Those were really exciting times. We worked on, and then Cyrix. We helped work and build a chip which had to work first time with no other changes because it's too expensive to produce a chip 2 times, right? You know that? That's good. So, you want to make things right the first time, and we've got to work on learning things in such a way that happens. So in that scenario, we managed to produce 486 SLC sitting in Cyrix, where I was design automation manager, a chip competing with Intel without violating its patents, working first time. This is a scenario that you'll be faced with where you can't say, I don't know what to do because we didn't do it before, but then you still need to be able to do it. So here it was, and then when I came back here during Globalised, I was an entrepreneur, who's also set up Motorola Software Center in Hyderabad, grew that to 150 people, CMM level 5 in record time, and then I was told, how could you do that in record time? We knew that there were a lot of things that were happening in industry, and to me, it was time I shifted and wore the academic hat, and this is what I did 5 years ago when I went to Triple IT and said, we'll do outreach education. And there, we're sitting over there, and Andhra Pradesh is very entrepreneurial, you know that, right? If there's one private engineering college started in Karnataka, we'll have 10, right? So we have the most numbers of engineering colleges here. We are the faculty. No, we don't have them. So quality suffers. How do we deal with it? So in Enhanced CDU, this is the project that I said about, where we were talking about enhancing the quality of IT education in engineering colleges. How are we doing it? We said if we just simply train the teachers, we lecture them, they go back and lecture the students, it's not going to work. Because they might forget everything or they might teach something else. So we developed content, and in this process, we created a model for how do you capture content? How do you keep the student engaged all the time? So we created the content, trained the teachers on the content like students. So they literally, 500 teachers sat for 2 months